I've been on another live stream. Anybody that's catching the replay of this, I've been on another live stream, and kind of waiting on Raz to go off the live stream so I could go live. There's a lot of the people who watch mine are from her channel, so hopefully they all haven't put their phones down and put them away. So we'll see what if anybody comes on board here. I know people go in, people actually do, I didn't think they did, but people actually do go in and watch the replays, so kind of surprised by that. Hopefully this one today will come out a little bit better than the one yesterday. Had a lot of problems with my connection yesterday, and it was going to be a short live stream anyway. So I've been outside. I'm at the Aviation Museum in Warner Robins, Georgia, and I've been outside filming all the different airplanes that I flew in when I was in the Air Force. So, and I'm in here because they have an airplane that I've actually flown in, and I actually flew. It's a two-seat airplane. There was a pilot, an actual pilot, in the airplane with me when he gave me control of the airplane, and I got to fly it for a little bit. Let's see if I can get anybody on the live stream here. Nobody's joined in according to my screen. No one's joined in yet. I'll flip this around. This airplane is an A-37. The airplane is a Cessna A-37 Dragonfly. The airplane that I flew in was a T-37. Basically, that airplane. This is an attack airplane. It has weapons on it. You can see where a machine gun used to be once upon a time. Looks like I got 5 people in here. Yeah. So yeah, there's guns on this one. The one I flew on was a T-37, which is a trainer. Pretty much the same airplane, or exactly the same airplane, just painted white instead of camo like this. Two-seat airplane like this. And then, of course, the T-37 doesn't have any weapons on it. Welcome in, everybody that's joined in. Leave a chat. Just to let you know, I'm at the Aviation Museum in Warner Robins, Georgia. And I've been walking around taking some video of the different airplanes I flew when I was in the Air Force, and this is one of them. A few people have popped in, a few people have given me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment, let me know that you're here. Yeah, this is a two-seat airplane. Pilot and co-pilot sit side by side, and when I flew in it, I was E3, E4, and was on orientation flight. And the pilot allowed me to take control of the airplane for a little bit and actually fly the airplane. I know that we did a loop in it. XT Clips, hi, welcome in, awesome plane, yes. The T-37, this is an A-37, the T-37, exactly the same airplane, no weapons though. The engines in them are extremely loud and high-pitched, and I worked right across the street from the flight line, so I heard them all day, every day. They call it the T-37 the Tweet, the nickname that the airplane had. There was another. This was the first airplane that student pilots learned to fly in the Air Force. I think they're still flying this. Maybe not. I don't remember now. I looked it up not too long ago. The other airplane that they flew back in my day, back in the 80s, was the T-38, which I've also flown in. Pretty cool airplane. Those are just extra fuel tanks on there. I don't know if the A-37, they could put rockets on it or not. Famita is here. Hi, Famita. I'm just going to call you Martin. Hello, welcome in. Never seen your name before. I am at the Aviation Museum in Warner Robins, Georgia, and taking video of all the different airplanes that I've flown on, and this is one of them. This is an A-37. I flew in a T-37, same airplane, just no weapons on the airplane. The airplane I flew in. It's a two-seat airplane. When I flew, obviously there was a pilot on board that was flying the airplane, but he did allow me to take control of the airplane for a little bit. So it was kind of cool to be able to fly. That was back in the 1980s when I was in the Air Force. I joined in 81. I left active duty in 87. Left the Air National Guard in 91, I believe. And 10 years in the military. Cool little airplane. Like I said, there was another one. This is the first one that student pilots learned to fly in the Air Force. At least it used to be. I'm not exactly sure what they train in now. But they fly in a T-38, which is like they don't have one here. It's like a fighter jet, and it's two-seat airplane, pilot in the front, pilot in the back. I think the instructor pilot is in the front seat. But yeah, these come equipped with ejection seats, as you can see in there. And that was part of my job in the Air Force, was I trained pilots and student pilots on ejection seat procedures. This particular airplane, I don't remember the exact numbers, but you had to be at altitude and you had to have airspeed in order to eject out of this safely. Modern airplanes today, you can eject out of just sitting stopped on the ground. You can eject out of them. This one you could not. You'd not get far enough up in the air to get a full parachute over your head before you hit the ground. So if there was an emergency, you needed to get out of the airplane, you would crawl out of the airplane on this particular airplane. Martin, I know I said hi to you. Welcome into the channel. My name's Dave. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I'm at the Aviation Museum. Just walking around taking videos of the different airplanes. We got several helicopters here. I've actually flown in one. That's not it right there. It's over here, the one I flew in. This is, I believe, a UH-1 Huey helicopter. Yeah, UH-1P. This is what you see in all the Vietnam movies with the door gunner and all that. And I've flown in, not an Air Force version of this, but Army version of this particular helicopter. We did like survival training, and I went up to the local or the closest Army base and worked with them on survival training for if a pilot had to eject in northern Texas or southern Oklahoma, where I was stationed. And then this is a great big airplane or helicopter here. Not exactly sure what that is. This looks like something that they'd fly generals around in and stuff like that. I've got bad visuals, Tim, sorry about that. They don't have Wi-Fi here, so this is an F4. Big time fighter jet during Vietnam War. Yeah, this museum is not part of the military or part of the government. It's funded by donations, so I guess they don't want to pay for Wi-Fi for everybody. And walk around here and we see what this helicopter is. I don't know for sure. Okay, without the light, the glare on there. It's a Sikorsky HH-3E. That's for refueling there, I know that. Almost got that job in the Air Force. Firefighter. Tim, I don't know if I'm coming across any better now or not. And I think you just joined. I'm at an aviation museum. I'm an Air Force veteran, U.S. Air Force, and just wanted to come over here. I took some videos of some airplanes that I flew on when I was in the Air Force. So, and this guy right here, when I was in the Air Force, that was my rank, Staff Sergeant. Not the captain, the Staff Sergeant. I went to the Air National Guard and ended up getting a commission and made it to First Lieutenant, one rank below the guy that they got standing there, who's a captain. Flip this back around on me so you guys can see me. Tim, are you still here? Am I getting any better video now? Okay, you are still here. Cool. I don't know if you saw this earlier, Tim. Right behind me here, this airplane is an A-37. I'll flip the camera back around on it. I don't know if you were here when I was showing this a minute ago. This is an A-37. There's also a T-37. The A is for attack aircraft. T is for trainer. T-37 was the first jet that student pilots flew in the Air Force. And I was stationed at a student pilot training base, and I got a orientation flight in one of these. It's a two-seat airplane with ejection seats. We used to train student pilots and pilots on how to eject out of the airplane. Yeah, so we got to fly in these. The pilot, I knew him personally, and he actually let me take control of the airplane for a little while, and I actually got to fly it. Didn't do much, just kind of, I don't know, move the wing back and forth. I think I did a turn or two, but that was about it. So, but yeah, it's a pretty cool airplane. There's another one that I flew in. It's a T-38. It's more like a fighter airplane. It's a two-seat airplane as well, and it's where pilots in the front and student pilot would be in the back seat, just like a two-seat fighter jet. So, and I'm staying in here. I'm inside a building because it's a lot cooler here. So, anybody else out there in the chat want to see anything different? I might walk over, depending on how this goes. They have an SR-71 here, which is the spy airplane that the Air Force used to fly. I might walk over to that building. I said this is a privately run museum. It's not funded by the Air Force or the U.S. government, and it is runs off of donations. So Sikorsky HH-3. That is actually a missile right there. I think this is an F-100. Hearing that person, welcome in. Yeah, better than leaving the planes in the desert to decay. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. This is actually a MiG-17. An early MiG-17 built in the Soviet Union in 1953. The MiG came to the museum from the Bulgarian Air Force. In April 1990, someone tore that number off as part of an exchange with the U.S. Air Force Museum. Huh. That's pretty cool. So it wasn't like we shot it down someplace. It's a Soviet MiG. Oh, look at that cockpit. Look how small that is. It's basically all engine. From the front to the rear. And all these mannequins that they're using, they're all staff sergeants. Yeah, this museum does a pretty good job. They got some airplanes outside, out back, that are in pretty rough shape, but they do a pretty good job of restoring these airplanes and displaying them here. Like I said, it all runs off of donations, so that's pretty cool. I have, that's what my uniform looked like when I first joined. Well, I didn't have major oak leaves on there, but yeah, that's the type of uniform I wore when I first joined the Air Force. Then they switched over to the camouflage uniforms. Yeah, it looks like I got about 4 people in there. If you want to see anything or know what I'm doing, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Definitely double tap the screen. Give me a like. Let me know that you're here. I've cooled down quite a bit. I'm in Georgia, and it's in the 90s. I know that. So I'll flip the camera back around on me. There's some people up here. I try my best when I'm out in public not to film other people. So I'm gonna walk over to another building here, and they have an SR-71 there, which is probably the coolest airplane ever built. We'll talk more about that when we get over there. Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Always thank a vet. Everybody on my live, always thank a vet when you see one, no matter what country you're in. That's a B-1 bomber. They're still flying that. That's an A-10 over there. They're still flying those. And I'm pretty sure the SR-71 is in here. Tim says museum looks good. Yeah, it is a nice museum. They do a good job. I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio, birthplace of aviation, and where the Wright brothers are from. And the Air Force Museum, the actual, it's run by the United States Air Force, is up there. And it's absolutely immense. I don't know how many buildings they have now, but it's absolutely huge. You can see where I'm at. Well, walk in here. Oh, gentlemen. All volunteers here. That is an F-15, I believe. Yep. Pretty nice. Yeah, they have this divided up by a lot of the, they have a bunch of different buildings, and a lot of them are divided up by the era. And this is the Korean War era here. And it's a dead end. Okay. That is an F-84 Thunderjet. Okay, I think I'm getting there now. Trying to find the SR-71. But it looks like we're going back in time. Yeah, we are. That's a cool airplane. P-40. I'm going to go up here to the front desk and ask them where the SR-71 is. I definitely want to get that on video. Can I help you, sir? Yes, where is the SR-71?
That's in the Century of Flight hangar. And you can go out either door. Well, you think this door is faster? Go out this way. Just go out this door to your left. You'll see right here in the big picture. Okay. And go down to the end of this building, right before you hit the Vietnam building, and go to your left and look right across. You'll see it.
Century of Flight. Okay.
So
right we're there. What, up here right now?
Yeah, we're right here.
Okay. So just walk around.
Yeah. So this is big picture. So if you come out here, go between there and look.
Okay.
And walk right across the amphitheater.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Service, appreciate it. Thank you, sir, for your. Did you serve?
Yes, I did.
Thank you for your service. Well. These guys are all veterans that work out here, and yeah, they're all veterans and volunteers that work out here. Anna's World, hi, how are you? Welcome into the live stream. I am at the Aviation Museum here in Georgia. It's a privately run museum, and runs off of donations, but it's primarily Air Force stuff. Pretty cool. I'm an Air Force veteran. Anybody that doesn't know, I love coming here. I love talking about this stuff. I was in another hangar earlier, so definitely go watch the replay if you missed that part. I was showing an airplane. I'm over here taking video of different airplanes I've flown in, so Guess I'll go ahead and show this on the live. This is a memorial for prisoners of war missing in action, which there are still a lot of them out there. I think it's pretty cool, that flag and the eagle on top. And then this ring here, I know they've had like presentations and stuff down here, but yeah, that's flag from every state. So, and right there's my home state, Ohio. So, heading down to that building down there. Tana's World, welcome in, and I'm glad that you found the stream. I hope that this is entertaining to you. I'm enjoying myself out, getting busy living, the theme of my channel. While I'm walking over here, I'll talk about that a little bit. Anybody on here? I'm a 65-year-old man. Just started my YouTube channel about 2 months ago, and I like to get out and do things, enjoy my life. The theme, like I said, is getting busy living, from the movie Shawshank Redemption. And he says we have two choices. We can either get busy living or get busy dying. And yeah, I definitely choose to get busy living. So, walking into the Century of Flight, I'm trying to find a particular airplane, the SR-71. I know they have one here, which was our big spy plane that we flew. Now we use satellites. There's an F-16. That's one of the Thunderbirds. Thunderbird number 3. And those of you that don't know, the Thunderbirds are the aviation performance from U.S. Air Force. They do all the air shows and everything, but that's an F-16 that they also fly regularly still as a fighter. I've seen the Thunderbirds quite a few times. I hate to admit, though, I like the Blue Angels better. And then right up there, that's the belly of the SR-71. Now I'm going to go over and we'll talk more about that. This is also a spy plane here. This great big thing here. And it's a U-2. I think they actually fly these. I'm not sure. But that's a spy plane. They can fly like 70, 80,000 feet. And fly forever at high speeds. Let's see what all it says about it. Yeah, U2, not the band. What all does it say? Yeah, they actually, because of the altitude they fly at, they actually have to wear spacesuits. And the guy that's in the spacesuit is going to be a pilot, but the guy that's with him, that was part of my career field when I was in the Air Force. Journey's here. Hi, Journey. I am at an aviation museum in Warner Robins, Georgia. And I am just walking around showing off some of the different airplanes that I've flown on. Yeah, the U-2, we actually lost a couple of people. He was shot down. Francis Gary Powers was shot down over the Soviet Union in 1960. guess they did finally release him in 2 years. They held him for 2 years. So the SR-71, Blue Angels is Navy, yes. That's an engine from an SR-71. They don't fly it anymore. I remember when they flew the last one into Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where I used to live. Hi, Journey. Internet person. The weirdest museum piece I've seen was the seat that Red Baron was sitting in when he crashed in 1918. Looked like he got shot from below too. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, the SR-71 record flights. Yeah, this could fly at like Mach 3.5 times the speed of sound at like 80,000 feet. Flew from New York to London in 1 hour and 54 minutes. Flew from the west coast to the east coast in 1 hour and 7 minutes. Kansas City to Washington, D.C., 25 minutes and 58 seconds. Top altitude is 85,000 feet. And that's barely still in our atmosphere. London to Los Angeles in 3 hours and 47 minutes. Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., 1 hour and 4 minutes. So clear across the country in 1 hour and 4 minutes. Yeah, it was the fastest plane on Earth. See if I can show you it's a pretty big airplane, so it's hard to show the whole thing all in one shot. It's amazing that they have one here. I mean, there weren't a lot of them around. I don't know how many they built, but there weren't a whole bunch of them. You know what? I'm going to go up here. I don't think I've ever been up here before. But yeah, you can get up above it. Here we go. Look at that. That is incredible. 2 engines. Huge engines. From what I understand, at ground level on these airplanes, the metal, it couldn't fit together very well because when it went to altitude and was flying at such high speeds, it got so hot that they would crack. They actually had to space them apart. So I guess like the fuel tanks and stuff on these things would leak when it was sitting at ground level, so they'd be fueling it up and a bunch of fuel would be leaking on the ground until it got up in the air. I'll walk up here a little bit further. There you go. Definitely the most impressive airplane here. Unfortunately, we don't use them anymore. Everything's done by satellite now. Make the SR-71 the new Uber. Yeah. You'd be able to get to where you wanted to go quick. This is the top of the U2 that I was under a little bit ago as well, and then that's a drone there, unmanned airplane. And someone mentioned Blue Angels, Navy Blue Angels, and then yeah, that's the top of an F-16 Air Force Thunderbird. see what I can get from over here of the SR-71. Jim, I appreciate you hanging around. I'm glad that you're interested in all of this. And that's a AC-130. I did some footage of one outside, but I know this one's more outfitted with guns and stuff. So, and there's the drone, and then you can also see the nose of the SR-71. And there's an AC-130 down there. And right above me is the original Wright Flyer. It's not, I think it's a replica of the original Wright Flyer. That's where, well, it's disputed on who flew first, but yeah. Walk back around here, and then I'll go down to that 130. It's AC-130, and this is obviously more modern stuff here. You're welcome, Tim. You're welcome. Like I said, I hope you're enjoying this. You can get a better idea of the SR-71 over there. You got a helicopter hanging from the ceiling here, actually up off the ground. It's kind of cool. Oh, there's a T-37 down there. That's what I was showing earlier. The A-37, but this is actually a T-37. I didn't know they had this. Yeah, I've flown in one of those. I've actually flown one of those. I was a pilot on board, but yeah, I actually flew one of those airplanes when I was in the Air Force. I know during like big events and stuff, they have that AC-130 open so you can go inside of it, but it doesn't look like they do today. We're talking about the Red Baron. There we go. Well, there's so it's a little bit different, but cannon right there for your size of it. That's a huge cannon. They have absolute size. I think my phone is in a Faraday cage right now. Okay. And that sucks. They flip this around so you can compare that gun to my head. I'm standing right next to it. And yeah. That's a cannon. Okay, what I was talking about is this is a AC-130. And I was talking about there's a video game out there that you can play that you can fly these and shoot. But yeah, it has a 105 millimeter howitzer and then a 40 millimeter cannon as well. That's that one right there. That's 105 back there. That's a pretty big cannon. And then this is a Gatling gun. A 25 millimeter Gatling gun, and it says it can shoot 1,800 rounds per minute. Wow. Wow. Like when they have big events out here, I know that they open that up. Like I said, this is a completely volunteer organization here, and so you know, they just don't always have enough volunteers to man everything, man all the displays. You get back over here to this airplane because I have actually flown one of these. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier. It's a T-37 Tweet is what they call it, Tweety birds. It's a two-seat airplane. The pilot and co-pilot sit side by side in this. It's the first airplane that student pilots in the U.S. Air Force fly to learn how to become when they're going through pilot training. And I was stationed at a pilot training base, and I actually got an orientation flight in one of these and was able to actually fly the airplane. So Captain Joshua J. Bell. But yeah, it has an ejection seat, and if you've already heard this, I apologize, but they have ejection seats, but they are not capable. You have to have altitude, and you have to have a certain amount. Yeah, the Tweety bird is for training only. Yes. You have to have altitude, and you have to have a certain airspeed. I forget what those numbers are, in order to eject safely, so that you end up with a parachute over your head by the time you hit the ground. Modern jets, you can be sitting still and eject out of them and get a parachute over your head before you hit the ground. We used to train student pilots, and pilots had to go through ejection seat training once a year. And so yeah, they would come by, we'd run them through real quick, making sure they knew everything on the ejection seat, how to operate it and all that. So that was pretty cool. The other airplane that they flew when I was in the Air Force was the T-38, which is more of a fighter jet, where it's two-seat airplane, but the pilot was in the front, and the co-pilot or student pilot was in the back seat. And I got to fly on one of those as well, and actually flew one of those as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool. They don't have a T-38 here though. They have two T-30. Well, they have an A-37 and a T-37. So, yes, I don't know. It said that they don't have Wi-Fi out here, so get one last shot of the. There we go. Back outside, see if I get a better internet connection out there. You're liking the little bird? Looks cool. Yeah, they're kind of cool airplanes. They're definitely fun to fly in. They weren't real fast. Obviously, they would not get up to. Hey. Alright, I am back outside. Hopefully this connection stays connected now. Looks like I got a few more people in here. Journey says hi. Internet person says I'm liking the little bird, looks cool. Yeah, the T-37 Tweet is a cool little airplane. I started to say I was inside. I kept getting disconnected, so I stopped talking. It's not a real fast airplane. When I flew in it, I know we did a couple of loops, like a big loop. We'd fly upside down for a minute. But in order to do that, we had to fly to the peak altitude that we were allowed to fly at in the pattern we were in, and then dive. We had to dive to build up enough airspeed so that when we came back up and over, we had enough airspeed so that the airplane didn't stall. So, yeah. Journey, I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you're still here. Hopefully I see a bunch of hearts going up. Everybody's liking the video. I hope. Double tapping the screen. This is just another part of my getting busy living. Being an Air Force vet, I enjoy this stuff. The fact that I flew in some of these airplanes is kind of cool to me. And so I just wanted to come over here. I shot a bunch of video before I went live. And I'll put together a little video about that. Show you where I'm at outside right now. That's a C-141 Starlifter cargo airplane. I've flown in one of those. That was actually pretty boring. It was like flying on a commercial airliner. It had seats like a commercial airliner in it, and we just sat in the seats the whole time. Really didn't get to go up in the cockpit or anything. So got some people walking toward me here. And that right there is a B-52 bomber. And I have flown in one of those as well. It was, when I flew in the B-52, it was definitely entertaining and educational, but it was an 8-hour training flight that I was on, and we flew from around the Dallas-Fort Worth area all the way up into I think we were in like Montana, Wyoming, stuff like that, and they were practicing low-level bomb runs. So that big old airplane right there, and we were flying, I think the lowest we got was like 1,000 feet off the ground, like over mountain ridges and stuff like that. And as we were approaching the mountain ridges, yeah, it looked like we were going to run right into the mountains. But yeah, that was an 8-hour flight, so that got real long. And by the time we got back to Texas, I was definitely ready to get my feet back on the ground. The amazing thing about these B-52s, and I'm coming in here and getting underneath it because there's shade. There is a nice breeze today, so it actually feels pretty good down here. But the amazing thing about these B-52s is they're still flying. And I was reading the sign earlier. The last one they built was in 1963. I mean, I was only 3 years old when they built this, so I don't think I can still fly. Never been able to fly, so. But the one I flew on was built in 1959, so it was built a year before I was born, or in the year before I was born. But yeah, we're still using them. They've obviously refit them and modified them and done a bunch of stuff to them to get them so that they're still airworthy. I'm sure these airplanes have been completely rebuilt. I don't know how successful this live stream is going to be from here. Like I said, though, I did shoot some video of the different airplanes, so I'm going to put together, edit a video of some of the different airplanes that I flew on in the Air Force. Been live for about 51 minutes. Anybody still here, give me a comment, let me know that you're still here. I do appreciate you coming on the stream. I was on my favorite stream when I was driving over here listening, and then waiting for her to end her stream before I went live. And I know that a lot of the viewers I get are from her stream, so it looks like everybody that was on her stream put their phones down, plugged them back in, and they don't even know that I'm live. So a lot of them, some of them will watch the replay. I'm gonna post this as a replay, so hopefully the quality of the video, I know I did lose connection a couple of times, but hopefully the quality comes out. So leave me a comment, let me know you're here. So let me know that I'm not just talking to myself. There's a bench over here. I'm gonna go sit on this bench for a few minutes. Okay. Oh. Yeah, you know you're old when you grunt and growl when you sit down. Anybody here wants to leave a comment, let me know you're here. I'd appreciate that. Hopefully you have enjoyed this stream if you've been here for a little bit. Like I said, I'm at an aviation museum here in Warner Robins, Georgia. I'm an Air Force vet, and I enjoy coming here, walking around, reminiscing, looking at the airplanes that I've flown in. Right now I'm sitting underneath a B-52, and I have flown in one of those. And nobody's participating, nobody's commenting. That's all right. Been about 54 minutes. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream, and let it go with that. Got me a few likes on the stream. I do appreciate that. I've had a few people come in and out. This internet person that is showing up in the comments right now definitely left me a few. There was Tim on here earlier. Journey's been off and on. Famita came in for a minute. XT Clips was here for a minute. So I definitely appreciate everybody that came into the stream, made a comment, gave me a thumbs up. Thank you very much for that. If anybody is still watching, I have a YouTube channel. I'm a 65-year-old man, and got a bunch of videos on there. I think I've got like a little over 30 videos on there, and it's about, the motto of the channel is to get busy living, from the movie Shawshank Redemption. And you have a choice to either get busy living or get busy dying, and I've chosen to get busy living and start enjoying my life at my age. Said I'm 65, brand new to YouTube, so that's one thing I'm doing, coming to places like this, looking at airplanes, reminiscing about my good old days, that kind of stuff. So once again, thank everybody for watching. If you didn't catch the live and you've been watching this in the replay, I definitely appreciate that as well, and definitely give me a thumbs up there. It's much appreciated. It definitely helps us to grow our channels. So I'm gonna sign off now. It's been almost a full hour, so peace everybody. Have a good day.